How's it going, guys? So we are here at San Jose Regionals. We just got finished with the tournament. I have with me
Azul, Garcia, Griego.
Cool.
Just finished first place.
first place. So, and what was the deck that you were piloting today?
Nightmarch, Zoroark.
Nightmarch Zoroark. And Nightmarch Zoroark was a very popular deck going into this regionals. Were you expecting that turnout?
I didn't know. I mean, there was like 6-7 people in my group that we all played the same list, and we did well. I wasn't sure how much there was going to be. I knew there would be some. I didn't know how many people would incorporate Zoroark. There wasn't like an overwhelming amount. There was definitely a decent amount, but like not more than I expected for sure.
Cool. Perfect. All right. So let's get into the deck profile and see exactly what you were running today. Okay, so let's look at the Pokemon lineup.
Alright, so standard for Nightmarch, 4 Punkaboo, 4 Joltik, 4 Lampent, main attacker in the deck. It attacks based on how many other things with Nightmarch in this card pile, so you have to play the maximum amount that there is, and these are all the ones where if there were more people with attackers with Nightmarch, you'd play more, but it's just these.
Did you see yourself attacking more with a Joltik or with a Punkaboo?
Joltik for sure. Because
Okay.
Punkaboo, to attack efficiently with it, you need the Stadium Dimension Valley, and you don't have it as often as you'd like. So you got to play around being able to attack as much as possible, and that usually leads to you attacking with Joltik more often.
Cool.
Then we have the consistency Pokemon to help keep the deck consistent and flowing, and that's the 3 Shaman, 1 Tapu Lele.
That's our draw support of the deck, Pokemon based,
Yep,
which is good.
the Pokemon draw based support. And then we have what actually makes Nightmarch still relevant, in my opinion, because of all the things I can counter it right now, is the 2/2 Zoroark line. First of all, I want to give full credit to this list to Peter Kika. I did go with it because I did think it pretty much could handle anything in the format, so I did think it was a good deck. The only thing I played different from him is he played the Ram Zorua, and I played the Paralyzing Gaze, because there's no reason to play the Ram Zorua, and I told him that multiple times, but everyone else went with the Ram Zorua. I went with Paralyzing Gaze. I only ever attacked with them once, but it was super relevant and won me a game, so it was definitely worth playing these ones over the Ram.
Cool, perfect.
Last, Marshadow. He's basically just a 13th Nightmarcher. He can hit for the extra damage because he takes a Pokemon out of your discard pile, so he can get the extra plus 20 that you wouldn't be able to get if you're attacking with a normal Nightmarcher. He also has these fighting types, so again, stuff what Zoroark means so popular, you can attack for like 5 to 6 Nightmarch in one shot out.
And hitting the Drampa as well for
Yeah.
weakness, so yeah, that's always good.
Yeah. And then, of course, 40 CE. You don't play any other energy in this deck because they all attack for a double colorless energy, more or less. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so that was the energy count and the Pokemon, so let's get into the supporter lineup.
First up, Getsis and Hex. Disruption supporters, very good on turn 1, and then depending on the matchup, further on in the game they'll also be relevant. But definitely they're always looking to use these turn 1 at some point to disrupt the opponent.
Cool.
Guzma Lysander, obviously you want to be able to access their bench and stop them from doing whatever they plan to do, so 2 of those, you don't want to prize 1, and it's definitely, I think, especially in Expanded, only in Expanded now, but it's always worth to play 1 of each.
1-1 split.
Yeah. A lot of people do the 2 Guzma and usually no Lysander, but I think it's always worth it to have a 1-1 split. You never know what situations come up. You can always play around one or the other.
Right.
Teammates, consistency card, it's great in matchups where you trade back and forth with 1 prize attackers, so if you don't have it and they do, you're probably just going to lose the game, so you always play teammates, especially combined with Zoroark. Like, you use Zoroark first and you draw cards, and then teammates gets whatever else you need on top of it.
Was this very useful? I saw that you played against Gyarados today, right?
Yeah, I didn't end up using it too much against Gyarados because the game got accelerated to a point where I couldn't, where I used too many resources early, and then I couldn't use it every turn to be able to be efficient with my following turns to do what I wanted to lock him out of the game.
Right.
It is usually if the game is slower, but when the games get accelerated really fast, you usually just want to keep Sycamore in every turn, so you can set up like a Getsis plus other thing lock or Hex or an N plus attack to make sure you get that. Whereas teammates only get you 2 cards, so you're not always going to get everything you need.
Right.
Then there's the staple consistency supporters, 3 Sycamore, 1 N. It is a little low than other decks, but with Nightmarch, you have so many other ways between the support Pokemon and the Shamans and the Lele, and Battle Compressor plus Via Seeker combo, that you don't need to play as many draw supporters. It doesn't hurt your consistency playing that much less.
Cool. And then I saw that you were only running the Hex and not a Pokemon Ranger. Were you not afraid of Toad or Giratina being a thing?
Giratina, definitely not. I thought there was possibility for like a Rogue Mismagius deck, which also has Chaos Wheel. I wasn't really afraid of it. Tina just doesn't work in the current format. There's nothing with DDE that runs really well that has any synergy. Maybe from here on out you'll have to because of how popular Nightmarch was at this tournament. You have to prepare for stuff like Chaos Wheel. But I did not expect anything like that to come up. As far as Toad goes, most Toad decks actually also play Karen, so simply using Ranger is not going to do a whole lot because you'll need so many other item cards with it. But just usually, that's where Zoroark comes in and helps shore up Toad locking. Is you just put a DC on it, you can swing it, and they can't really one-shot a Zoroark, so they have to figure out a different way to deal with that, and that usually ends with them stopping the Toad lock, and then you can go off with your items again.
Nice.
So that's the supporters. Two-Dimension Valley for the stadiums, pretty standard. You don't really play more because you don't need to attack with. You don't overly need to attack with Punkaboo. So it's just like some people do 3, but it's usually just unnecessary.
Cool.
1 Field Blower. Don't really need more than that. It's just awkward situation, especially blowing away your own Dimension Valley in mirror matches, getting rid of the Skyfield in the Zoroark matchup, and then attacking with Zoroark. Like there's a lot of little things. You definitely don't play 0, but you definitely don't need more than 1. Dowsing Machine. Not as consistent as Computer Search, but with how consistent this deck is, you don't really need it, so you might want to push in the late game from the Dowsing Machine. Special Charge, we only have DCEs, and we can run out of them, so Special Charge gets 2 DCE back.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 Float Stone, this is one thing that I would maybe like to see a second of, but overall I guess it's fine. You also have Guzma to move your active if you ever need to. As long as you get a decent turn 1, turn 2, you're not really worried about moving your active that much. It's usually just dead, and you can set up something behind it.
Cool.
1 Choice Band. Another card. This is for sure a card I think I would want a second of after this weekend. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility without having to dig as deep to get knockouts.
Would you consider another Choice Band or doing the 1-1 split between the Choice Band and Muscle Band?
Definitely just another Choice Band. Because you only need, like, for Muscle Band, there's not enough things. It's not too hard to hit the knockouts where you need the Muscle Bands for, so it's definitely more relevant trying to one-shot the Zoroarks with the 210 and stuff. So I definitely don't think a Muscle Band's needed, but definitely would consider a second Choice Band.
Cool.
For Ultra Ball, stable in pretty much every deck. Super consistent when we have Pokemon like Shaman and Lele, where you can just go get them and you don't have to worry about dead drawing as much. Finds all your other Pokemon. If anything, you'll play more Search Balls, but yeah, for Ultra Ball, super standard. 4 via Seeker, also very standard, as long as you're playing it expanded. Reuse your supporters, not know what to say there, just keeping it consistent.
Right.
4 Puzzle of Time. This is something that is usually unique to Nightmarch decks, but pretty much every deck in top 8, I think, played Puzzle of Time.
Yeah, Puzzle of Time, for some reason, in Expanded, it's like a staple.
Yeah.
Zoroark was running it, a couple Zoroark bros were running it. The one Wailord deck, that top, they were running it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure actually everyone in top 8 was playing Puzzle of Time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it just adds, the way Zoroark works is you just keep drawing cards, so you're never discarding resources, so Puzzle just gives you more resources, and it's not like you're giving up consistency with your deck once you set up to have the puzzle in your deck, because you just continuously drawing cards, and you're never shuffling your hand in or discarding your hand, so yeah.
Cool.
3 Trainer's Mail, consistency cards, just straight up consistency. If anything, if you ever want to change them, you trade them for like supporters, or even add more of them, but like, you always want some amount of Trainer's Mail because they're just super useful in thinning your deck and keeping everything moving.
Do you feel that 3 was adequate, or was there any moment during the tournament that you felt that you needed that extra Trainer's Mail?
I think 3 was definitely fine. I would definitely play around with 2 to 4 and just see what I like most, but I think you definitely want to play at least 2, and 3 was fine. I didn't like. That was always nice when I had them. Of course, 4 could always just be better.
Right.
And then last but not least, 4 Battle Compressor. I want to make sure we can actually hit for damage with our Nightmarchers, and yeah, keep it consistent, play 4.
Cool, perfect. Alright guys, so that was the deck list right there. Alright guys, so that was the Nightmarch list there. So, with that said, what was one of your hardest matches for day 1?
Matches for day 1, I played against a Toad Bats with Karen. And that's actually the one match where Paralyzing Gaze on Zorua came in super clutch. Yeah, definitely the hardest matchup. Very close to just losing that one, but Paralyzing Gaze got a couple heads and it pulled me out.
Nice. And because you were playing in day 1 and you saw the meta as it was transitioning, you started seeing all these weak decks falling off, and you started seeing what was in top tables. What were your thoughts going into day 2? How did you adapt to the meta game going into day 2?
I mean, I just thought there was a ridiculous amount of Zoroark overall. Like, I did not expect that much. More variants came out than I expected, which is good. Because it's good it wasn't just all like the same 60 of Zoroark. There was like, I mean, I'd say Zoroark was probably like 30% of the meta. Maybe that's more than it was, but there was a lot. There was a lot of Zoroark, and I'm glad there was different variants. It didn't. My mindset didn't change too much. It was just I thought the Zoroark matchups were fine. It was better and worse depending on what list people were playing. I think the worst Zoroark list for me to play against, none of them made top 8, so that was fortunate. But yeah, overall it was a little bit surprising to see all the Zoroark.
Was the one matchup that you were not looking forward to is the one with the Alolan Muck?
Yeah, Alolan Muck. This one was actually ran by Keon Amini, most notably to me. It had Alolan Muck, Toad, Karen, and he was beating everyone else who was playing my list, who were all very good players. So I was scared to play against that list. I knew it wouldn't be anything close to an auto loss, but I would have preferred to avoid it, and I was able to avoid it completely.
Cool, perfect. And now that everything's said and done, what are your final thoughts of San Jose?
It was a great regional. I won, so I mean, it feels great. Yeah.
Cool, perfect. And are we going to see you at any other big events coming up?
Yeah, I'll probably be going to every regional in the U.S. This year. Maybe I'll even try and hit one in Europe, but I'll be going to the Memphis, which is the next one, and then Dallas, the one after that.
Cool, perfect. Well, hope nothing but the best for you. Thank you for giving us the time of being in the channel. And with that said, guys, that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video if anybody wants to know what took first place at the regional San Jose. With that said, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.